Welcome back to Friday Night Live on this January 7th, 2011. Mike Rickard, Tony, and Senny, as we cover everything in the world of Iowa high school sports this winter. We're here till 11 o'clock tonight in our Hy-Vee High School headquarters studios, making lives easier, healthier, and happier for the student athletes, coaches, officials, and teachers of Iowa's high schools. Pick up a copy of our magazine at 446 Casey's General Stores across the great state of Iowa. And while you're there, pick up 2 large one-topping pizzas for only $10. That's $5 a pop for you, Tony. 10 divided by 2 is 5. And we're also in our Des Moines Imports radio studios, the largest selection of import brands under one roof, including Kia, Mitsubishi, Suzuki, and Saab. Des Moines Imports, 1 block north of I-8035 and Highway 141, or 24/7 at DesMoinesImports.com. You know, my nephew played for the Sioux City Musketeers, and my brother-in-law was involved, as you said, in this great league. And he doesn't get upset. I hope Dave Simon does. But I always call these young hockey guys wrestlers on skates, man. They're just tough kids, and they're on skates. And he's the general manager of the Des Moines Oak Leaves. He's kind enough to join us tonight. How are you, David?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me, guys.
You're not offended by that wrestlers on skates term, are you?
No, we get a lot worse, I guess.
Oh, tough kids are on skates, yeah.
Well, Dave, we wish. You know what? I got to ask you first of all, because the Simon name is kind of familiar with hockey around Iowa.
No relation.
No relation at all, huh?
No relation whatsoever, no.
Unbelievable. I was like, I forgot to ask you that once I got off the phone with you. But let's talk about this Midwest High School Hockey League. We have teams throughout the state and outside of the state, a couple of teams from Kansas City, up in the Sioux Falls area there's a team, Lincoln, Nebraska, and Omaha has a team. But right here in Des Moines, we have 2 of the best in the Des Moines Capitals and your Des Moines Oakleys. It's always a fun battle. It's a great sport, and it's not kids from one hallway in the schools, high schools across the area. It's kids from many, many hallways across Iowa high schools that make up these teams.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. In Des Moines, between our 2 teams, we represent 12 different high schools, covering all the local metro ones. And if you want to call them out in the outreach, you got North Polk, Southeast Polk represented as well in Ankeny.
When this league first got started many, many years ago, back in the 70s, the Waterloos kind of controlled what was going on there. But this decade has been the decade of the Des Moines Capitals, the Des Moines Oakleys. You'd ran so many streaks. A couple of years ago, I did get the opportunity to watch Waterloo break that run of the Des Moines teams winning the title. And in some ways, I think that was a good thing for this league, because it kind of made everybody say, we've got to get better. These Des Moines teams are good. We've got to, you guys dangle that carrot there. Now everybody else is getting better. And this has become a very competitive league at the top.
Absolutely. There's a lot of parity in the league now. I mean, as it stands right now in the standings, there's a total of 4 points between the first 6 teams, 5 between the first 7. So it's open-ended season. We're in our last half of the year now, and it's anybody's game at this point.
Let me ask you this. Andy over the Des Moines Capitals is a good friend of mine. I do a lot of business with the Kruger family, and when you've got all these kids from the different high schools, do you guys have tryouts where you're both there, or do you just have to make a commitment that you want to play for the Oak Leaves or you want to play for the Capitals? How does that work for these kids?
Well, it's different in different associations throughout the league. In our case, the Oak Leafs and Capitals have a tryout with the new kids coming into the teams. Have to skate a couple times with each team, evaluated by the coaching staff, and then we have a draft. And it switches each year who has the first draft pick. There are some we give away for the siblings, so they're automatics to, if your brother was a Capital, then you're going to be a Capital. If your brother is an Oakley, if you're an Oakley. But there are other associations in the league that it's an open, you pick a team and try out for them, and they take you or don't take you. So you get a mix throughout the league.
And Dave, I got to ask you, because unlike some of the sports, hockey can be pretty expensive, especially to the parents. And in some families, I mean, they might have kids that are really interested in becoming a hockey player, want to get into the sport, but the expenses may be keeping them out. Are there avenues where these kids can have an opportunity to be able to participate in these leagues?
Absolutely. Starting down at the youth level, even when at mites and squirts, they have fundraiser activities. There's always a way to offset your costs. I know that on our team, when you get to high school and into the travel leagues, it starts running the costs up quite a bit. Ice is not cheap throughout all the associations. We pay quite a bit. But we have families that walk away with money in their pocket, didn't pay for the season simply because they've gone out and made the effort to do the fundraising activities that are available and eliminated those costs.
You're listening to Friday Night Live on the Iowa Sports Connection Radio and Television Network. A conversation with Dave Simon. He's the general manager of the Des Moines Oak Leafs from the Midwest High School Hockey League. And one of the things that we've seen evolve in this decade, which I think has certainly raised the level of play for both you and the Capitals, is some of the high schools went ahead and got their own teams as well. So you almost have a feeder system that's developed into your teams these days, and the kids that don't have the talent to play in both teams still have a chance to play competitively hockey. That's probably been a real asset.
Yeah, it's helped. I mean, you don't lose them. They get an opportunity to play in a league that where they might have otherwise quit playing hockey altogether. And we every year, both the Capitals and the Oak Leafs will pick up a couple kids that have come out of the Metro High School League. And to fill out our rosters, and some of those kids come along and are big contributors. So it's they might have just needed a couple more years to mature physically and skill-wise, and they just didn't, or you run into situations where they weren't sure what they wanted to do. I mean, it is a big time commitment. These kids that play for the Oak Leafs and the Capitals, they're on the ice 4 to 5 nights a week for practice, 2 and 3 game weekends. There's weeks when they're on the ice 7 days in a row. So, they're giving up a lot of free time to participate in the sport.
I think you made a great point there, because this is a sport. We talk about wrestling and about the commitment those guys have to take to become a state champion or to become a champion or to just play the sport. This is another one of those that take a lot of commitment, because you got kids who have to travel from sometimes 20, 30 miles just to play and practice each day, let alone the travel of going to Omaha or Kansas City or Lincoln to play or Sioux City to play a hockey match on the weekend. So there's a lot of commitment, not only from the players but their families as well.
Absolutely. The hockey team becomes your extended family if you stay in the sport for very long. We're a close-knit group. So these are the best friends you'll ever have. It's like with all families, we have our dysfunction too, but for the most part, it's a great thing to be a part of. And our kids split up for the travel age to go in high school for the Capitals and Oak Leafs, but I got to say I've got quite a few friends that still, family-wise and kids-wise, are over playing for the Capitals now.
Dave, share with our audience your background in hockey, how you got involved, and the position you're in now as general manager of the Oak Leafs.
Well, I was born in North Dakota. I got a couple uncles that play hockey. They drag you into the sport. Then you can't. Once you start playing, you can't get away from it. A lot of pond hockey as a kid growing up.
Free ice out there then.
Yeah, it was cold. So anyway, you get the family involvement there, and then my position with the Oak Leafs came along. I coached for probably about 16 years in the youth leagues at all levels, and then my older son went to the Oak Leafs, so I've been with them for about 8 years now, and the last couple years as the team manager here in that capacity, and I wouldn't change it for the world. It's been the greatest experience ever.
Well, I can tell you what, our experience at the Iowa Sports Connection with everybody at the Midwest High School Hockey League, from the top to going to the tournaments, and the parents and the players, it has been a great experience. You have got some of the greatest fans. We've always said how wrestling fans will, and one of the reasons we have an hour segment each week just talk wrestling. Your Midwest High School hockey fans are outstanding fans. They've been great support, and it's been fun covering these young men as they play hockey.
Yeah, they can be a rabid group, right? I mean,
they are.
They are excited about their sport and their kids, and the big couple interstate games for us this year between the Capitals and Oak Leafs have already passed. But it's to get a high school hockey game going. We have 1,800 to 2,000 fans out. It's a pretty fun experience.
Last question for me. I grew up in Northwest Iowa. Fighting Sioux or Bison?
Absolutely the Sioux.
Come on, man. Of course, you're a hockey guy, and that incredible facility they have in Grand Forks is one of the finest in America. It's amazing that it's in a community that size, but that's quite the complex, isn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. Both my sons have been to hockey camp there, and we've spent time on the ice, and it's just it's a $100 million facility. I don't know how you can go wrong.
And here's the other thing that I love about it, and I talk about this on my show, and I'm not shy about the topic. They're still called the Fighting Sioux, my college used to be the Morningside Chiefs, and now they're the Mustangs. So at least the Fighting Sioux are still alive.
For a while, anyway.
Exactly. All right, David, thanks for taking time to join us tonight on Friday Night Live.
Thank you.
All right, that's Dave Simon. He's the general manager of the Des Moines Oak Leafs. That was a huge controversy up there in North Dakota. The guy that contributed all the money for this incredible complex where they've had the Frozen Four, some PC people wanted the name Fighting Sioux to go away. And right in the middle of the project, he said this will become the biggest pigeon hanger in the world if you make that move. And so they buckled and they kept the Fighting Sioux, but he wasn't going to finish the project.
You know, Dave talked about being up in North Dakota and playing pond hockey. Just being here, I had a friend that has a pond at his house, and every year around Super Bowl
Is that
time,
what happened to you? You fell in?
Tell you what, I can't skate. I can't but I put a pair of my old Army boots on.
Jeez.
And you
Here we go.
Oh,
What are
it's
Tony's
great.
stories?
With the hockey sticks, he put nets out there. Mike, it is the best time. You know what? We didn't even come in to watch the bowl
Come
games.
on,
We stayed out
man.
there and play hockey all day until we couldn't see the puck anymore.
Oh,
It's
my
a blast.
word.
It's
Tony
a
and
blast.
Cindy.
Even for us
We
novices.
digress.
Oh, yes.
We're hearing an East Side story about him and some old worn
By
out
the way,
boots.
Indiana State defeated Northern Iowa on the men's side tonight, 70-45. That's a final. And Drake leading at the half over the Bradley Braves, 26-21 Bulldogs.
I like both those scores. My old buddy, current buddy. I'm sorry. And Ben Jacobson, I love him, but my buddy Greg Lansing, I felt he got overlooked on a couple jobs. He's got a statement to make, and he's got some Iowa boys on that staff as well, on the floor as well, that escaped the state. We'll be back.
The calls already.
We'll be back to talk wrestling when we return here on Friday Night Live on the Iowa Sports Connection Radio Television Network.